Welcome back to Film Fanatics, and today on the channel we're reviewing The Last of Us, HBO's most viewed show since House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones in the last decade, and it's taken the world by storm.
I didn't think this show would hit as many people as it has, as a former game player, but I'm so glad it did because this story needed to be told. It's a really good story, and I'm glad like all the people that didn't play the video game get to experience it. So yeah, I'm happy.
So you're sitting here with someone who played the game a lot and someone like me who's never played the game. So
it's actually my favorite game of all time.
Wow. And I think a lot of people share that sentiment. So I came to it not knowing the story beats, and I was really invested. And so I heard it was really good, and I was like, okay, is it just a great adaptation, or am I going to love it as someone who just likes good TV? And I think this is going to stay one of my favorite shows of the year. Like,
yeah,
right now it is. I'm confident that Succession will beat it soon when it comes back, but right now I love The Last of Us.
Yeah, so the story of The Last of Us basically is like a fungi pandemic, and the show takes place about 20 years later in 2023. And the show starts in the 2000s. You see like the day that everything went to shit, basically. It's a very impactful first episode. We're not going to spoil anything so far, but like, let me just say, prepare the wipes for that one. Even I that knew what was going to happen, I played the game. Even I was like not prepared for that. So that's the general plot of the show. It's like, it takes place in 2023, 20 years after this pandemic started. And Joel finds this, he runs into this one girl that seems like she maybe is immune. And the adventure of the show is taking this girl from one side of the country to the other side of the country, where this organization called the Fireflies are going to test if they can use her immunity to save the world. First of all, I really want to shout out Neil Druckmann. He's one of the creators, and he was also the writer of the game. I'm so glad that they got him to make the jump.
So Craig Mazin, who was also the head writer of Chernobyl, was one of the head creators and directors of a couple of the episodes. I also want to shout out Gustavo Santaolalla. So he's an excellent composer. He's a two-time Oscar winner, back-to-back years for two of the best films from that decade, Brokeback Mountain and Babel. And I feel like he really used a lot of the undertones from Babel.
He's Argentinian. My apologies.
Argentine. Nice. So it's
probably Santoasha or something like that.
Okay. So I feel like he used like some of the undertones from Babel to create something dark but also poetic.
Yeah, I love the music as well. So it's good. It's based on the music of the game, which is also like the game has an incredible soundtrack. They adapted this game beautifully. The only time that they really steered off the main game was in episode 3, and I think they did it beautifully because it was, I think, one of the best episodes of the series so far. And so yeah, I trust them to like gear into other directions now because I've seen that they're really capable of doing that.
Yeah, the direction of the show, you can tell that they like drew influences from some movies that I love, like Children of Men, or A Quiet Place, or Sicario, or Annihilation, with the visuals of of the zombies. I don't know what you want to call them. To be fair,
the game came out before Annihilation, and it looked like that.
Okay, well maybe Annihilation was inspired by Last of Us then. But they look just similar in that way. But there's a shot in the first scene, in the first episode, where I was like, they definitely were inspired by Children of Men with that. Let's talk about the cast. Pedro Pascal. I think this is said a lot, but I don't think the role would have worked as well without him.
Oh, I agree.
Because from the start, there's this gentleness to him that you see in the first part of the show that you then get to hold on to with him. And I feel like with any other actor, it maybe would have come off as too stoic. I don't know, because Pascal, like, even when he's super serious, there's still a bit of wit to him, even when he's not really, like, trying to be funny. And I just thought it was... like the best casting they could have found.
He is Joel. Pedro Pascal is Joel. It's crazy how similar he is. Like, look and feel and in character itself, like what he says and how he says it, perfect Joel.
And I think like he should genuinely be an Emmy consideration.
He should win.
Yeah, honestly, it's a part in, where he like utters this line to Ellie, "You don't know what loss is," and the whole season, the way he said that line just sticks with me because it's like one of his most powerful, like dramatic moments in his whole career.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I think Pedro Pascal really makes this role his own, even though it's so much like the original. And a person that was a bit annoying at first, but I grew to love, is Bella Ramsey's Ellie. She did a fantastic job. What did you think of her?
I thought her acting was amazing. Like, yeah, she gets on your nerves, but that's the point of Ellie. She's supposed to be kind of this, like, both grossed out and trying to gross out everyone and make every situation cringe. And I thought she was the perfect foil to him.
Gabriel Luna, he plays Joe's brother, Tommy. And again, very similar to the game. They did a really good job adapting this. And he kind of seems like Pedro Pascal's brother, so it really works.
And I feel like in the first bit of the show, like he's just such a good presence that even when he's not in it for a while,
you feel him.
Yeah, he's felt there.
Because I want to talk about Nick Offerman and Murray Bartlett.
Protect them at all costs.
Yes. Besides the two main ones, these were the best performances on the show, right?
Yeah, Murray Bartlett in particular, I thought was he gave it his all, and Nick Offerman. There were times where I laughed because it was so funny how he was just being Ron Swanson, but in the apocalypse. But I loved how well he played it and how deep these characters dug.
Yeah, I've only seen Murray Bartlett in The White Lotus.
Yeah, same.
So it was a weird turn for me because he's such a sassy asshole in The White Lotus, and here he's like this compassionate, super kind human being. Who's just trying to try to have a normal life during the apocalypse, and he plays it beautifully.
Yeah, and for how different these characters are, they're like so healthy and compassionate with each other.
Yeah.
That episode, we'll talk more about it.
That episode breaks you.
I want to shout out Storm Reed. Storm Reed I thought was wonderful. She has an episode where she plays Bella Ramsey's BFF.
Oh yeah, she was great.
I also thought she was just a presence where like you want to see more of her, and she was absolutely terrific. Again, I've seen her in a lot, but I think
oh my god, she's Zendaya's sister in Euphoria.
The only person I thought was kind of miscast was Melanie Linsky. I don't know how I felt.
also felt that.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I thought I was gonna be alone in like the whole world. But even though she's not a bad actor, I just thought some of her delivery was a little too like out there. If she had even dove deeper into the awkwardness of her character, it would have been even more unsettling. But I kind of felt like she wasn't even evil that much as confused.
Yeah. I haven't played the game in full in a long time, and I don't remember the character that she plays that much. So I don't know, maybe she was being like super faithful. Maybe that's what happened. But I also wasn't a huge fan, but I love Melanie Linsky and like a bunch of other things.
I was thinking, what if Aubrey Plaza had played this character? It would have been perfect.
Oh, I agree with that, actually. And I want to shout out that they gave jobs to Scott Shepard, Ashley Johnson, and Troy Baker. Ashley Johnson and Troy Baker are Joe and Ellie from the game.
Which one's Joey Baker?
Ashley plays Ellie's mom, and Troy Baker plays James.
Baker, sorry.
Which is one of the guys in the snow in the
commune.
In the commune.
Okay.
Yeah. So he's the guy that's always wearing a beanie in that episode.
Right.
He's great. I love him. I love
that
him.
guy was. That's interesting. Okay, cool.
He's such a good actor. I really want him to get more work because he only gets work in video games, which it's not great. He's also in the Uncharted games and all that, so he's great. Okay, are you ready for some spoilers?
Yes, sir, I am.
Actually, just a little bit before, go watch this show if you haven't. It's a fantastic show.
Yeah, well, I don't think, look at me. You don't need to be a fan of the games to get into it. Just know it's like apocalyptic. It's really violent. There's a lot of moral ambiguity in this. So know what you're getting into, but it's thrilling and it's worth the ride.
Yes, and as a fan of the game, know that you will probably know most of the story beats. It's not that different. Like, you know the story, you know everything. When it's gonna happen, you know it. But it's a beautiful translation, and you should go watch it.
Yeah, just like the just as someone who likes visceral TV, something that feels grand but also doesn't sacrifice any of the filmmaking. Get into The Last of Us; you won't regret it.
Yes. So let's get into some spoilers.
Spoiler time.
Again, I'll put this up. There you go. Spoilers for The Last of Us Season 1. Again, I knew all of this was going to happen. But it was still fun watching it unfold.
Episode 1, halfway in, traumatized me. It was like, it does like this 20 years later thing, and I'm like, hold on, I need to grieve. Like, what's going on here?
And I'll do you one better. I think the beginning is better of the TV show than the video game. They do the exact same thing, but I think, I don't remember, it's because maybe I played it when I was too young, so I wasn't that emotionally connected or something, but what Nico Parker does in that beginning killed me.
Yeah, and it's like, it's kind of evil that they got us, that she's the main character the first half hour, and then she's gone.
And you don't see that on the game, by the way. Like, in the game, like, it's basically, it starts and it, like, from the night that day, I think. So you don't get to spend that much time with her, with Sarah. So that's why I think it broke me more than the game did.
Also, I think it's Pedro Pascal's delivery.
Oh, yeah.
When he goes, I know, when he's like picking her up and trying to treat her bullet wound.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that's what sells it in the show.
For me, that's the best moment of the show. Like, acting-wise and
like,
for directing-wise and everything. That's that moment, for me, like, destroyed me. So let's talk a little bit about another episode with the Nick Offerman one also destroyed me a little bit.
Let's talk about that, because it was a great little, in its way, a bottle episode, because it has a standalone story, which I like when shows maybe do that, where it's like something that might not even come back later in the show, but it's this great little story. And someone said that that they beat the apocalypse because they got to live life on their own terms, away from the infected,
they definitely did.
And be happy with each other for a full life. It's really poetic, and it definitely stings at the end, but they played it so well, and it was...
That final shot at the window, I was just like, oh my god, why is the show so good?
Yeah, and I was so glad that they like ended it with the window and didn't show them like laying on the bed.
Yeah, that would have been bad.
Yeah, exactly. It would have just ruined it, and I feel
that would have been bad. I'm so sorry. Go on, please.
Alan's giving me shit for doing the exact same thing, but not as bad. Bad.
Oh god.
But yeah, like, just such great directing in this show. I'm not even gonna lie. That whole episode just kept me engaged.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the actual ending of the show. Again, saw it coming. I played it. I actually had to kill all those people. So
I know what you're feeling, Joel.
Yeah, I know what he's feeling. I was pretty traumatized by that as a 14, 15-year-old. So Joe's choice is harsh, but it's also... When I was a kid, I agreed with him like that. I was like, you right, man. You go get your daughter. But like, the nuance of the TV show plus the fact that I'm an old man now, like, I still understand why he did it. He felt like she was the only important thing in his life, and like he had a daughter again after having his taken away from him so long ago. So, you know what? Who am I to judge? I'm not in an apocalypse.
I think in the great scheme of things, like, it looks like...
And I don't think she would have the cure, by the way.
Look...
I think they would have killed her for no goddamn reason.
Look, I don't think... First of all, I don't think Joel was thinking about that. Like, you're probably right that they should have done way more tests in her lifetime...
Exactly.
Before they got a cure. But I think at the moral question of things, it does sort of turn Joel into this villain, especially with the lie. And I think it was a selfish decision... Probably was wrong to like do deadly brain surgery right away, but in the moral question of things, he definitely chose. He healed this wound that was, because I think the title "The Last of Us" it is the last of the human race, but it's also the last of Joel's soul and him either sacrificing or fighting for that. And so he found redemption through Ellie and being able to take care of that after he failed to save Sarah, though it wasn't his fault.
I think that's what it is. I think because Because if you pay attention to the... Oh my god.
I don't think he could have bared to lose another daughter
Because if you
figure.
pay attention to the first episode, he could have killed that guy right before he shot her. And I feel like he remembers that moment, and he's like, oh, that shit's not happening again in my watch. So he just kills everyone.
I don't think he can bear to let another daughter figure die on his watch. Not only because of the guilt that he would feel after, but also the absence of it. Like, her existence gave his life purpose again.
Yeah.
And so I think...
he wasn't ready to lose that again.
So I think the whole show, I had this vibe that, like, even if they found a cure now and the world would go back, it would feel the same for him because it would be a world without Sarah.
Yeah.
And through Ellie, he found redemption. So now he needs Ellie in the world in order to feel whole again.
So I will say, in the video game, it seems less out of nowhere because you've been killing people for like 30 hours.
I was thinking, everyone Joel and Ellie come in contact with dies within an hour of meeting them. It's a thing.
Exactly, and Joel is ruthless. In the game, he's even more ruthless than Pedro Pascal plays him.
He's an anti-hero in that way.
Yes.
He has to do some horrible things.
And he had to do way more of that shit when we weren't with him during those 20 years.
Right.
So, like, you understand, like, what happens. And, again, I probably wouldn't have done that, but it's a horrible decision that I don't wish anyone would ever have to make.
Yeah, it definitely is a shocking one. I think it was true to what his character was feeling, though.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's going to be interesting to see how the lie now influences their relationship.
Okay, so you don't know anything, right, about The Last of Us 2?
I think I know a couple things because I saw like headlines on YouTube after finishing the first season, but I don't really know much.
Okay, I'm not going to spoil anything because I never finished The Last of Us 2, by the way. Because it came out when I was already not that into gaming anymore.
I heard the world was very split on it.
Yeah, because of something that I did play through that happens in the beginning of the game.
Okay.
That's what most people hated, and of course it affected the whole game. That's not why I stopped playing. I understood that decision. I stopped playing because I'm an old fart, and I just can't seem to play video games anymore for a long period of time.
I don't know what it is. I don't want to know what it is, but I wonder if they'll keep it in the game.
They will. They have talked about it already.
Okay, cool.
They're gonna keep the game exactly how it was. So what they've said is that they're also planning of doing multiple seasons of the second game, unlike the first one, because the first one was the entire first game. So I don't know how that would work. I would probably tell him to do another season and then be done, because finality is okay.
Yeah. I wonder, maybe they're just trying to do a 3-season arc, like split the second game in two and make it a trilogy.
That would be okay. Like, also because I have a feeling they're gonna, again, I don't want to really get into the spoilers of why, but they're gonna want to stretch the beginning of that game for a little bit.
Okay.
To give more characters more time. I'm not gonna go too far beyond that. But
I hope they give us more guest stars in season 2, because everyone we loved is gone.
They will. It's the same type of game. So like you go from city to city, like you have an adventure and all that. One thing, I don't know how people are going to react to me saying this, because she is great in the show. I don't think Bella Ramsey should play Ellie in season 2. It takes place about 6 or 7 years later, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, okay, that's one.
And she's like a full-on woman. So I don't think...
Okay.
Yeah, and like they play a lot with like, they play with like love interests and stuff like that in a more mature way.
Well, she's 14, and if they film the show next year, she'll be 20. So I don't think it's that terrible.
20?
She's 19 now.
I thought you said 14.
No, in the show she's 14.
But she looks 14.
It's true.
So I think it would be weird. I don't know. I think it would be weird.
I'm fine with either decision.
I would
honestly.
be fine with either decision, but as a person that has played a little bit the second game, I would love for an actual like 25, 26-year-old to play her.
But they've confirmed that they're keeping her, right?
I'm not sure yet.
Okay, because I saw something that the creators said they have every intent of keeping Bella Ramsey.
Yeah, but every intent and keeping her are two different things.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been 100% confirmed yet. Again, I'll be fine if they did. I just think it would be a little weird. So yeah, because she's not gonna look. She's 40, like she plays a 14-year-old now. She's gonna look the same way a year from now. So yeah. I just think some of the storylines will work better with an older actor.
Makes sense. Again, someone who hasn't played the game, I'm fine if they keep her, or if they find someone equal. But I really thought Bella Ramsey really does capture this character so well.
House of the Dragon, right?
Yeah,
we had two amazing actors playing a character that needed two amazing actors playing her. I think it's the same situation here. So, yeah, overall, I'm so excited for season 2. What are some of your theories of what's happening? Because I can't tell mine because I know what's happening.
Well, I think she's gonna find out eventually, or else this is like nothing. Like, knowing how storytelling works, eventually Joel is gonna have to tell her what he did. I don't know. Maybe it'll end something like I Am Legend, where there's gonna be like a group of survivors with the cure, and they're gonna be like, now we have hope or something. What's your rating, by the way?
Oh yeah, we didn't do ratings. Okay, so my rating for this show is 9.5 out of 10. I loved it so much. It would have been 10 if I never played the game.
Plot twist, my rating is the same as Alan's.
Amazing. So 9.5 out of
all
10. Around. We love this show. Go watch this show right now. If you're still watching the review, even though we're spoiling all of it, still go watch it. I knew everything and I still had a good time. Gal, where can people find us out there on the internet?
Y'all can find us at Film Fanatics Pod on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube. We've got plenty of YouTube content where we interview content creators, filmmakers, actors, and so on. You don't want to miss it, and stay tuned for more.
Yes, also remember to subscribe to our channel and leave a comment and leave us a like. It really helps us a lot.
Yeah, comment what was your favorite performance and episode from season 1 of The Last of Us.
Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching. See you next time.
Film Fanatics. From the silver screen to your earphones with Alan Azulay and Gal Balaban.